Everybody.
I'll hold it this time.
Since you brought that book. I'd like to call the meeting of the Lenoir City Council to order for Tuesday, October 21st, 2014. We welcome you here this evening. As we normally do, we will get started with a moment of silence, and then we will remain standing for our Pledge of Allegiance. As we go to our moment of silence, I would like for you to keep the family of our friend Greg Pilkington in your thoughts and prayers. Greg was passed away over the weekend and was buried yesterday. Just please keep Pam, Jeff, and John and their family in your thoughts and prayers. Greg was a fine citizen in our community and served the city in many ways. Served on the planning board, the Board of Adjustments for over 20 years for our city, so he was quite involved and did love this city very much. Businessman here in the community. So if you would, please keep him in your thoughts and prayers, and we will now, if you will, please, we'll rise and have a moment of silence. Remain standing for the pledge. Thank you. Salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tonight we have a special recognition of the Young Marines. Commander Greg Ross was scheduled to be with us tonight, but he was unable to be here. He had difficulty at his office in Greensboro and had some problems there, so he was unable to make it to our meeting tonight, but we are going to present a proclamation to them proclaiming the week of October 23rd through October 31 as Red Ribbon Week throughout the city of Lenoir and Caldwell County. This pertains to an opportunity for our city to demonstrate in its support in the battle against illegal drugs and to keep our country and our children safe. So we will proclaim this proclamation and get it to Mr. Ross at a later time. So I'm not going to read the proclamation tonight, but we will go ahead and proclaim that week of October 23rd through the 31st as Red Ribbon Week throughout the city. We will move on then. We do not have any matters scheduled for public hearings this evening, so we'll move on to our consent agenda items consisting of minutes from the joint City Council ABC Board meeting of Tuesday, September 30th, 2014. We have minutes from our City Council meeting of Tuesday, October 7th, 2014, and minutes from the closed session minutes of June 17, July 15, August 5th, August 19th, September 2nd, September 23rd, and October 7th. These were reviewed by the city attorney, the city manager, and the city council has had those. So all three of these items are on our consent agenda, and I will open that up for any discussion of any of the items.
I have some possible corrections to the October 7th meeting.
Okay.
This is on page 201, third paragraph.
Can we discuss that out loud?
This is the regular meeting, not one of the closed
Yeah.
sessions.
Okay.
Correct.
October 7th, did you say?
Third paragraph.
Nope, come back.
Go back,
Page
go back.
201. First page.
Yep. Okay.
Third paragraph has discussion regarding the collection rate of our prior year's tax collection rate. And then I think it's just confusing. It says, in one of the sentences, he further stated the city is required by law to use this rate for the budget and calculation of budgeted property tax revenue, but it doesn't say what this rate is. I think it would be more appropriate. What did I give you, Shirley, on that? If you'll read that.
I'll just read the whole sentence. He
Okay.
further stated the city is required by law to use this rate, and Councilman Stevens recommends to change it, required to use the prior year's collection rate for the budget and calculation of the budgeted property tax revenue for the next fiscal year.
I think that's much more clear than,
Yeah, I think that's what he said, because you had asked
Right.
whether it was an average or something like that.
correct.
Okay.
That's the first correction I would suggest. The second correction is 2 paragraphs below that. It refers to Mr. Bowman being here discussing our audit. It says Mr. Bowman stated he also includes a modified opinion. It is not a modified opinion. Mr. Bowman also includes an unqualified opinion.
Okay.
Very different.
We'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else?
I had some other suggestions on the closed session minutes, but I assume we need to take those up in closed session.
Pull those till closed session.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve all of those changes.
Okay.
Okay. So we pulling the minutes of the closed session until we've had time to discuss those in closed session. Okay.
Okay.
Any other corrections or changes or discussion on items A and B?
Motion to approve the A and B as amended.
We have a motion to approve item A and item B, which are the joint City Council ABC Board meeting and the City Council meeting of Tuesday, October 7th, as amended on the changes from Councilmember Stevens. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you. That carries unanimously. And we will look at the minutes from C as we go into closed session for those corrections. Okay, we'll move on then to, this is the time on our agenda of any requests and petitions of any of the citizens of our community or anyone. I don't see anyone with us other than those of our staff and our guests who are with us. So if there's anyone who would like to address us, seeing no one, we will move on to reports of our boards and commissions. Our planning director, Jenny Wheelock, is here to present a report on our minimum housing. Some updates on that. Jenny?
All right, thank you. Good evening. I'm just going to go really quickly through this. You guys will remember we amended our ordinances early this year to split the enforcement of minimum housing and nuisances. The police department's doing nuisances and the planning department is still doing minimum housing. One of the things that did is freed up a lot of staff time that were previously spent doing nuisances to focus on minimum housing. And so far, our numbers are looking a lot better this year than they looked last year. We've had 7 dilapidated houses demolished this year compared with 0 last year. 5 of those were owner abated, which was a really good number for us. 2 were city abated, and those were properties that were already in the works that had kind of been started and stopped and started and stopped. One of the best numbers is not on here. We had 5 code enforcement officers last year. So far, we've only had 1 this year, and he's still here, and he's doing a great job, so we're really excited about that. We've got 14 minimum housing cases that are open in some place along the process. We've already sent a letter. The owner's already aware they're in the abatement period. We've had 5 civil citations actually issued since you all amended the ordinance earlier this year. All of them have been paid. 3 were for zoning violations and 2 were for failure to abate minimum housing violations. And we've got 123 cases in our priority formula. If you all remember, we had an ASU intern working with us over the summer, Walton Robinson, and he organized all our minimum housing files, all of the backlog, and came up with this priority formula as a way for us to start systematically addressing some of the houses that have been reported to us maybe a couple of years ago, or we started a case and never went through with it. And so there's 123 out there that we know about, and that's attached to your memo. That's actually with the data we have so far and how they ranked. I'm not going to go through individual cases, mostly because, one, we haven't notified all of these owners yet. It may be that a citizen reported it. And my hope is that some of these have changed hands since we opened a case on them, and maybe they've already been abated. And when we get to them on the list and we discover they're abated, that will actually help us move down the list very quickly. The one other thing I wanted to bring up tonight, and the reason that we're not going to be sending out a lot of letters on these backlog cases, is that we're going to be, actually we already sent out letters to do all of the mobile home park inspections. It's something that's required by our ordinances to do every year. They haven't been done since 2010, so we're a little behind. And what we're going to be inspecting is the park itself, whether or not they've made all of the necessary improvements. The parks have to have an identification sign, the streets have to be paved, and the streets have to be illuminated by street lighting. That was adopted in 2003. Parks were given 10 years to comply. It would have been last year that they were due, so we're going to be doing those inspections. And we've got 22 mobile home parks, so that'll really be our major focus the next couple of months, and then we'll start on working on this backlog of cases. I'm available if you guys have any questions.
Okay.
Jenny, I have a question about the citations. When these guys, the five, or like the two housing violations, they paid the fine, are they going to abate? They're like, oh man, I know I'm wrong, here's the fine, I don't want this again?
Yes, the two citations were actually issued for the same property, and it is one of the owner abated properties. So after the second citation, they realized they needed to comply, and the house came down.
Got it. So it's working?
It's working.
Got it. That was my main question. And I'm not going to, because you haven't contacted these, but like the top 3 or 4 of these who score really high on the intern, I thought that was a really good way to quantify, I guess. You know, if you put a number, if you can measure, like with the urgency scores. Do you know just the top 5? Especially, I'm thinking of like the top 1 here. If that's been addressed at all.
Yeah, actually, the first 2 on the list there, the owners are aware. We've been in contact with them. They, one of them has some ownership issues, so it'll probably be a little bit before we see resolution. But the other one, yeah, we're trying to work with the owners on those.
Okay.
One of them's an occupied structure, so that's going to take a little bit longer. But actually, yeah, we've already been in contact with those 2.
Thank you. Good work.
Okay.
I saw at least 3 of these that are noted that they were built in the 1800s. Is that correct? Or is that typo?
Well, that first one is definitely correct.
Okay. Wow.
We've got a couple really old structures that probably would qualify for National Register status, but
If they weren't on this list.
Some of them have had improvements over the years made to them that really have not helped the structure
I
much.
understand.
The number of citizens' complaints,
Mm-hmm.
what does that play in prioritizing any activities on these residents?
It's a mathematical formula. The weight is the same as a police call. So if we don't have a lot of police activity out there, but a lot of neighbors are complaining, it allows those houses to still be ranked higher instead of those communities being told, no, you have to wait.
So these would get the attention?
Each number on there is a different citizen who has complained about that property. So if a couple people call us about a house, it starts to move up the list pretty quickly.
But the number just means that an investigation is performed, not necessarily that action would be taken. Like if they got a neighbor who's just complaining all the time about them and it's just some neighborhood dispute, you go out there and investigate and find out there's really nothing wrong.
Right.
You just move on.
Exactly.
All right.
But
Yep.
it still will show up as a police call, possibly,
Or
right?
citizen complaint.
So,
A citizen complaint, yep.
okay, but what is defined as a police call? Is it simply you go, chief, your officer goes there for whatever reason? It's not that charges were filed or anything was noted?
I don't think you're talking about ordinance violations necessarily, you're talking about drug activity, fines, disturbances, or.
Yep.
Okay.
It's just a general stand-in, so some of them even may be wellness checks, and that
Okay.
may rate something a little bit higher, but clearly, the properties that we have problems with do stand out, so it's kind of a proxy to help us prioritize.
That's great information.
All right, if there's any properties you don't see on here that you think should be, let us know. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jenny. There's no other questions of any of that. We'll move on then to report and recommendations of the city manager. Mr. Bailey.
Yes. One-stop voting begins Thursday, October 23rd, and runs through November 1st at City County Chambers. Sanitation's annual fall leaf pickup began on October 15th and runs through the middle of January 15th. The Committee of the Whole will meet on Tuesday, October 28th at 8:30 a.m. at City Hall. The Lenoir will host a community meeting Tuesday, October 28th at Smith Memorial United Methodist Church, beginning at 6 p.m. The public is encouraged to attend. Foothills Regional Airport Authority will meet on Wednesday, October 29th at noon. Our annual downtown trick-or-treat event will be held on Friday, October 31st from 3 to 5 p.m. City Council meeting scheduled for Tuesday, November 4th at 6 p.m. will be held at City Hall on the third floor due to Election Day. City offices will be closed Tuesday, November 11th in observance of Veterans Day. American Legion Post 29 will host a Veterans Day ceremony on Tuesday, November 11th, beginning at 11 a.m. at Veterans Plaza. The 2015 holiday schedule is in your packet as information. We follow the state schedule per policy. The 2015 City Council meeting schedule is submitted for your review and approval, and we do that at this time each year, and we try to adjust meetings as necessary for National League of City meetings, North Carolina League of Municipalities meetings, or ICMA, and note those. We have notes for when those dates are, but that needs your approval to on our meeting schedule.
The November, it looks like we're just going to have the one regular meeting in November on Tuesday, November 10th.
Yes, sir.
It looks like, unless I'm reading it wrong, I guess the reason we don't have the November 17th one would be because the National League of Cities. What's happening November 3rd, Election Day?
That's Election Day, and our thought was just split between the two meetings, have that, and then we would do it for that reason.
Okay. Motion to approve.
Okay. I was actually reading it, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the 2015 holiday schedule and the 2015 City Council meeting schedule. I assume we're doing both, is that true?
You don't need to
You don't
do
have
the
to do the
first,
holiday, okay.
holiday.
Just the City Council meeting schedule.
Yeah.
Any other discussion on that, or any questions about any of the meeting dates or whatever? Now, the 10th wouldn't, what is next year on the Veterans Day? Is that always the
It's always the 11th.
11th?
day
Okay,
of
so it
11th,
wouldn't
yeah.
affect it on that. Okay. No other discussion, then I'll call for the question. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed. Thank you. That meeting schedule is approved.
Thank you, Mayor. At this time, I'd like to recognize two ICMA professional fellows that we have visiting Lenoir. This program, ICMA, is of course the International City County Management Association, and we have two fellows from that program that are visiting us through November 2nd. They were with some of us earlier at the North Carolina League of Municipalities meeting in Greensboro. They're from Timor-Leste or East Timor. 7 communities across the country are hosting fellows through this program, and the program is funded through the U.S. State Department. Josh Trindade is an advisor to the president of East Timor. We also have Marco Gonsalves, who is an advisor to the Ministry of Industry and Commerce. But Josh has agreed to speak to us, tell us a little bit about his country, and he is in a traditional costume, and we welcome Josh to our meeting. Josh?
I appreciate the opportunity. I'm very glad to be here, and we've been enjoying Lenoir very, very much. The people are nice, and food are delicious, and nature is very, very beautiful. I will present a little bit about East Timor. It's going to be very brief, and then after that I will take some questions if you have, because I think I have a lot of information to share. East Timor, or Timor-Leste, is the third newest country in the world after Kosovo, and then I think the newest one at the moment is South Sudan. As for name, you can call us Timor-Leste or East Timor. Both of them, if you translate, means east-east. Geographic location, as you can see, we are located in Southeast Asia. At the bottom of the map, you can see Australia is there, and then Indonesia, and then on top you can see China and the rest of Southeast Asia. From Timor to Darwin is only 1 hour flight. So we are located in two big giant G20 countries, Australia and Indonesia, and our country divided into 12 districts, and then one special region which is an enclave located in Indonesian territory. We also have 65 sub-districts, and then 442 sukos or villages. That's our territorial management, and you can see our flag on the bottom right. As a country, we are very new. We have a long history of colonialization. We were under Portuguese for 450 years, and then 24 years under Indonesian military occupation, and we voted for independence in 1999, and then from 1999 to 2002 we were administered by the United Nations under the transitional administrations, and then our restoration of independence is on 20th May of 2002. In terms of population, we are only 1.2 million based on 2010 census. We are a democratic country with official name República Democrática de Timor-Leste, Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste. We have very good freedom of speech. In our last election in 2012, we were rated by international community, including some observer from US, as our election free and fair. That was the first time We were still under United Nations at that time, but after we successfully organized that election, the new UN pulled out in the end of 2012. We have a semi-presidential system where a president is the head of the state, and then we have the prime minister as the head of the government, who is holding the executive power. We also have the parliament, and then the judiciary. And then our current president at the moment, it's called Taur Matanruak, who is a leader of guerrilla fighter against the Indonesian. And our prime minister currently is Sanana Gusmao, both of them serving from 2012 to 2017. As a new country, we have a lot of challenges. Our main income is coming from oil and gas in Timor Sea. We share that resource with Australia, and at the moment in our account, our money is actually in Federal Bank in the U.S. at the moment. We have about 17 billion US dollar, and we don't have any foreign debt. Some problem I can just mention briefly is that we have about 37% of civilian living below poverty line. Only they live on 1.25 cents per day. And our 40% of our population is malnourished, so it's like